The memory of the machine is a great place to play around with decorative stitches. Once you've stitched out your decorative stitches, you know some fun combinations you might like to use with certain ones. For example, this combined two different stars. This is actually a blanket stitch, put one in one way and then reversed for a brand new stitch. That's one of my favorites. And then here's just a continuous flower vine or leaves, and then we're going to show you how to put names in here as well, along with how to use some of your directional stitches with some of your larger decorative stitches. So let's get started. First off, when you open the program, you will notice that your screen goes blank to the side here. That indicates that you're just not in the regular sewing screen any longer. Once this comes up here, I think I'm still in the alphabets, we're going to go back to our regular stitches. Let's go ahead and do the star combination. So first off, we're going to go ahead and go to the G menu and pick stitch number 5. You'll notice one star appears in the screen, and exactly how it's coming is exactly how it's going to sew. So if you want to flip it around so the base is on the other side, this is where you can do that type of editing. We also can combine that second star. It's from the M menu, and you'll find it in M19. So go ahead and find it. I'm not in M, I'm in N. There we go. M19, there we go. And now it doesn't look like a lot right there, but actually if we put it in a second time, because that's actually how I sewed it. So it's going to do star and then a pair of stars and a second pair of stars. When we touch OK, this is where we're going to be able to see the combination. Now if we like it, why don't you save it into My Stitches? And that can go ahead and go into an empty square here. Now you have that combination saved. When you touch OK, you're ready to sew that out. Now if you want to do another program, for example, let's go ahead and delete this. If you do a long hold on the trash can, that will delete all the stitches showing on your screen. So to do the stitch here with the blanket stitch that I mentioned, we're going to go to our quilting menu. We're going to use stitch number 12 and put it in one time. Now I'm going to put stitch number 12 in again, but this time mirror image it. Now you'll notice there's a little gap right now, but that means you can actually move the stitch over if you move the needle position. You also have the ability to adjust width and length for each of the highlighted stitch. Right now there's a cursor, so only the stitch that is in red would be the one that is altered if I was to alter any stitch. And so you can go back, you can highlight the first one, you can delete the first one, whatever is red is the one that's going to get edited. Touch Alt to move the needle position, and I'm going to just move it all the way over till it touches the other stitch there, and then touch OK. Once you're here, it'll show you what it's going to look like. And to save it, touch the Save to My Stitches button and add it to position 2. Now notice it only shows you that short little bit, but once you select it, it will show you what it's going to look like out here. Now one of the things that you'll notice is on the B foot, there are little red lines. So if you do want to have this lined up underneath, say that right red line, you can go ahead and move that to be exactly where you want it to be. Right now the needle is hanging out where that black dot is, so you can move that left or right as desired. And you can get the exact, and it's really easy to line up when you're actually stitching. How about let's do one more here. So let's go to Program, long hold on the trash can, and delete, yes. Great. And what about this last combination, the one with the flowers and the leaves? We can go to the D menu, and we want stitch number 19. And the D menu, stitch number 20, right next door. So you can see, because of the way the stitch ends on the flower and begins on the leaf, you'll have them connect in this beautiful little vine. Let's see, if we even mirror image it, it even lines up too. I like stitches that have that center needle position as they enter and exit the stitch, because it makes it really easy to line up, or just find stitches that can connect easily if, for example, on the stars, they start on a left or right baseline. So once again, that is an easy stitch to add to our My Settings. Now, same thing as for decorative stitches we can do for the alphabet. Let's go back to Program, hold on the trash can, delete all stitches, OK. And then touch the A or the font menu at the top of the screen. The block letters outline, brush outline, and script, and these two are not specifically American, but there is other alphabets there too. So we're just going to pull up your alphabets. You're going to have uppercase, you're going to have lowercase, numbers, punctuation, and spaces. So depending on which letter is highlighted, right now we have the capital letters. Touch this for lowercase, and the last one for numbers and punctuation. On the letters that are capital, we can go ahead, I'm going to do uppercase, and then I'll do lowercase. As it spells it out, it spells it as it's going to stitch. So I know exactly what to expect when I start to sew. If I want a space, that is what I call the upside down staple, lazy staple, and that will put a space in between, and you can continue on with an initial, the last name, a date, a year. It's great to go in and have some fun with those stitches. So then you can stitch them out. If I need to edit anything, once again, if I move the cursor up or back, or if I decide I don't want a space or even the last letter, I can just touch the trash can one time and it deletes whatever is behind or above the cursor. So then it's ready to stitch out the name. If I want to save it, I can go put it into My Stitches if I'd like. When I touch OK though, you're going to notice, watch what it's going to do. It's going to go ahead and put Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. That is not how I want it to stitch. So if I wanted to only stitch one time, over above your needle is the stop button. As I push the stop button, look what happens. It tells the machine to stop at the end of the pattern and not repeat it. So I often like to push that before I start. Then I know that I can just depend on the machine stopping after the last letter. Now another thing you can do is play with the combination of stitches and directional stitches. So let's go ahead, we're going to delete out the letters. It's coming. There we go. Touch and hold the trash can, delete all stitches, okay. And then we'll go into some of the directional stitches. So for fun, let's go ahead, I'm going to pick from our menu here, stitch number 2. I'm going to actually put in a total of 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Now they're really big, so it's really going to be hard to see which one we're working with, but I know I put all 3 of them in there. So I'm going to put my cursor in between the first one and the second one. Watch what we're going to do. We're going to go to the 8-way stitching in the T menu. And I'm actually going to have the stitches, I'm going to put these in, watch what it's doing. It's moving me up to, I love that it's visual here, and I can go here and then maybe up a little bit. There we go. And then when I go ahead and move my arrows down, I can bring these stitches back. And I'll kind of get these lined up along the side here. Kind of like the look at that. If I use the magnifying glass, I can kind of see a little bit more of what I'm doing. I also can touch this symbol here, which will flip it over to see if I'm kind of lined up. Do you see what I'm getting? Kind of getting a fun repeat of scallops on top of scallops. And also, when I go out and touch OK, I'll also see this on my main sewing screen, so I know what to expect when I start to sew. This is kind of fun. It's unlimited what you're going to be able to do when you combine some of the directional stitches in with the bigger stitches. You can kind of stack them on top of each other, do a whole different combination. One more thing here we can do. Let's go ahead and go back to program. I'll just go ahead and delete these out. Another fun thing that I like to do, let's go back to those flowers. Those were in the D menu. I'm going to put in 2 flowers, put my cursor to the middle, go over to the T menu. So I'm going to insert 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do 7. And the reason I counted is because I want to put 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 back. That way, when I go to stitch and it repeats, I have a beginning flower, a middle flower, and then it will end where I want it to start again. And all of a sudden, I've taken a smaller design and turned it into a much bigger design. Sew this out in multiple rows, side by side, aligning the first point along maybe a drawn line, and you can have a filled-in background with decorative stitches in no time at all.